Being that girl that was overweight, no one wanted to be my friend. People did not see my heart because all they saw was my body. And so that's where I really started to love jewelry, because jewelry was just, it's the same for everyone. I said I want to start to make jewelry by hand. Ended up me getting recognized as Forbes 30 under 30. I almost kind of had to prove something, not to everyone around me, but to myself, that I wasn't this loser, that I wasn't this failure.
I can imagine like the pressure and the hard work, and you're just like, oh my gosh. And like, you're so lucky you had that opportunity. People do sometimes get that, and very often they lose that opportunity.
One thing that we were taught is parnasa, kids, and zivug, which is marriage partner. It's in God's hands. We gained about 20,000 followers overnight. We were dropping packages to USPS. Something happened, we're getting very lucky. CNN reaches out and they're like, we want to interview you. It just didn't feel right to come on and speak because I'm hiding something so big from everyone.
Welcome to Inspired to Lead. We'd like to thank our friends at Roth & Co., innovators in accounting and business advisory, for making this conversation possible. We're coming to you from New York City. I'm your host, Talia Mic. Today, I'm joined by founder of Adina Eden. Adina, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I know it took we're meeting in New York City, but it did take you a pretty long time to get here.
It took me too long, embarrassingly long. And at one point, I literally made the wrong turn and got onto the New Jersey Turnpike, which I don't know how that would be possible. But I was like, if that's what Hashem wanted me to do today, then that was going to happen. Well, he was saving me from something.
Well, whatever. I'm so excited because I know when we spoke before, we were supposed to speak for half an hour, and we spoke for like over an hour, and we could have like continued that conversation for such a long time. So I was like, this is so great. And there were so many things you shared. But I want to kick us off. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, so I am recently a mommy, which is like, I love to start off with that because that's my biggest and best role of my life. Yes, I'm a founder. Yes, I love Adina Eden. Yes, that's my first baby, but my babies are my life. So I'm really enjoying being a mommy. But just a little bit about me is I'm a very simple, humble, down-to-earth person. I love seeing the good in everyone and in everything. And sometimes that bites me, but I just love looking at life with a very positive outlook. And I think that that's helped me get to where I am today because there are so many struggles that we face both in business and in our personal life. And so that's just really who I am in a nutshell. I'm a very outgoing person. I just love to have fun and just be present in the moment, even though my whole life sometimes looks like it's on camera. It's not. Those are just snippets.
Tell us about Adina Eden Jewelry.
So Adina Eden, I founded Adina Eden when I was really young. I just turned 30, so like I feel very old.
You're still really young.
People tell that to me, but I just feel like, oh my God, life is passing me by, which
fast.
Is so crazy.
Yeah.
I started Adina Eden when I was about 18 and a half, 19 years old. And it's just been a crazy like whirlwind of a journey ever since. I mean, we've had our ups and our downs, but I love it. I wake up every day and that's my passion. It's my drive. Basically sell fashion and fine jewelry. And while we love what we do, we also love standing for Israel and on that side and just kind of being a voice in a way that not other brands may be or other brands may not choose to be. So really Adina Eden was my first project. My first big project in life, I would say. It's just been crazy. It's a family business. It's me, my brother, and my siblings. My parents are always in the foreshadow.
And you're in like a lot of stores.
We don't have that many stores like brick and mortar,
right?
But we are in a lot of retailers and we wholesale out to a lot. So that's a division that's recently grown for us.
Some of the stores that you guys are in?
We're in Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom, Revolve, Shop, and then we have, our lower end, but those are really like the biggest ones, I would say, and the ones that are the most notable. And then of course we have our website, which is really the biggest driving force of Adina Eden and what we are. And so we have our social media, which has a nice big following. And so I don't know, we started from really nothing. And I think that's what makes the story so special.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You were 19. So how do you get this idea to start doing something with jewelry?
So I always loved jewelry because I was very overweight when I was a child. And clothes is something that if you put on, you can see your body, no matter how modest you try to be, no matter how much you try to cover it up. And there's sizing. And a lot of times as a little girl, my friends were wearing certain, fashion and things that were very in, and I couldn't unfortunately wear those stuff. And that was very hard for me. And so one thing I did to kind of cover up on the fact that I couldn't dress like them was jewelry, because jewelry was just, it's the same for everyone. And so that's where I really started to love jewelry, and where I really started to accessorize myself and kind of feel girly and not just like this overweight girl who was always wearing dark colors or plus size clothing, and just everything was so bland and dark. And that was my way of kind of putting something together and just feeling really like put together. And so that's where I really started to fall in love with jewelry. And as I got older and as time went by, I got more, involved in really wanting to make my own pieces. And that's where really from nothing, that's how Adina Eden started. I mean, I had $100 in my pocket from literally babysitting money, and I said I want to start to make jewelry by hand. I've always been good with repairing my jewelry, with repairing like little small damages. I have really good, steady hands. And I'm patient, which is so important when you're a jeweler and when you're dealing with very fine pieces. And so that's how I started. I went to 47th Street. We're in New York. We're in the heart of it all, in the best place. And that's really how I started. I watched YouTube videos. I learned how to start a necklace from scratch, how to close a necklace, and get all the proper tools, the beads, the things that I needed. And it was it looked like a handmade piece. It was beaded, it had pearls. It was really very fresh and organic and different from anything that you would see. And that's really how I started.
Who was your first buyer? What was the first time someone bought something from you?
It was people in my community. I started with an Instagram.
And you're in the Syrian community.
Yes, I'm in the Syrian community. I started off my Instagram page. I think I was one of the first few people who made an Instagram page that was built for a business and not for a personal account. So you're talking a while ago. This is like over a decade ago. Instagram was more of just like sunset pictures and just, very, very not the social media type that you see today. So I figured, why not leverage this idea of social media and this idea of not having to have these people come to a store, because I don't have a store, get them to see my product online without having a website, but on Instagram. Yeah. And that's how I did it. And I started to get followers really quickly. And I remember I opened the account on a Friday. On Saturday night, when I went on my phone, I already had like hundreds of followers, which was crazy.
Yeah.
And then it just kept building and building and building. And then you do the giveaways and this and that and you just keep building on it. But my first customer was a Syrian. And that's something that I can never take away from the community that I come from and from the amazing people that have helped get me to where I got to. Because, some of them you call for advice. Others I used to call, to like, hey, I have this beautiful line that I'm launching, and what looks now like small money is what really helped build this business into what it is today and helped us have that kind of seed money in the beginning without looking for investors, without looking for any of that, because I started this business about 2 years before my brother got involved. And once Meyer, my brother, got involved, he's the CEO, we started to really pedal to the metal, make a website, do this, start with the, social media influencer marketing, which started to really pick up at that point. And that's when, we really saw that shift of like being this small little house to house, door to door, doing trunk shows to really converting into something really big.
How long did you make the jewelry yourself?
A while.
So you were literally hand making each
Yes.
piece in your house?
Yeah.
And then what was the milestone that moved from you making each piece to like the next level?
Okay. So I'm making pieces. We're getting orders online, and I'm like, I can't fulfill these orders. I'm in college. Mind you, I'm in college.
Yeah.
I'm the first person in my entire family on both sides to ever go to college.
Wow.
And to have graduated.
Wow.
So for me, that was a big deal to do, because my parents are immigrants. They did not have the luxury of going to college. My mom didn't even have the luxury of finishing high school. And so for me, I felt like this was such an important thing to do. And also that I can tell my kids that one day I could show it to my siblings. I'm the eldest, and I'm one of the eldest cousins. So like I kind of felt like I had to lead by example in that sense. And it was very important to me to have that education and to I can always walk into a room and say, I have a bachelor's degree. You can't take that away from me.
So you're still glad that you got it? Because now there's a whole bunch of controversy over should people go to college or not.
I'm still glad that I got it.
Yeah.
And whatever people choose to do, that's them. I respect everyone's decision. But for me, as someone who came from this type of background and environment, I really, really felt like it was important to finish. I started, I had to finish.
Yep.
And that's the thing about me. I don't give up in the middle. I finish all the way through. If I gave up, I don't know like where I would be in my life. Well,
we're going to talk about some of these tough moments. So the milestone, moment, you said the moment that we were talking about the moment that we changed.
We had an influencer post us. I don't know if I would call her an influencer. I think she was more of like a B class celebrity. She tagged us, which was unexpected. We did not expect her to tag us. And our website blew up. Our Instagram blew up. We gained about 20,000 followers in overnight.
Wow.
There was no Instagram story, so this was a post.
Yeah.
It was a post that was going to stay there, and when you tap the picture, it said Adina Eden, or at the time, Adina's Jewels. And it was just crazy what happened. And our website blew up, and I told Mar, remove every and any handmade pieces. There's no way that I can fulfill them. And of course, we had a quantity, a set quantity that we couldn't sell past.
Yeah.
But I was like, just remove it. I think it's time for us to shift gears and really kind of change who we are and go more on this dainty route, or like the personalized pieces. Like this person posted, Madison Beer. She was at one point opening up for Justin Bieber, so that's how she got really famous. And so she posted for us, and she was wearing a personalized necklace, and that's cut to order.
Yeah.
So I was like, as is, you're already running to fulfill all these orders, and our website basically was sold out. They sold us out on the entire website. There was like no product left. It was crazy. And so once we had that chance to build from scratch again and rebuild a new inventory, we felt like, let's go and do this a different way. Let's design a bit differently. Let's start to find factories. Let's start to do things a different way. And you're talking, I was 20, 21, and my brother was 20. He's 2 years younger than me, 19 maybe. My parents are like, you're not going anywhere. You're not going to Miami, you're not going to Vegas, you're not going to China, you're not going to Hong Kong, you're not going anywhere. If you want to go somewhere, one of us is going to come with you, and we're going to figure it out, and we're going to make it work. And so we started to do our research, and like, who can we trust? Where should we buy from? Where's good? Like, I didn't want us to just be getting from China. Like, I wanted good quality. And so we started to veer towards the Europe route. And that's how we really built we built this kind of high-end fashion jewelry.
It's really interesting because, I've heard of some of these stories for people where they got an unexpected boost. And for a lot of people, that also could have been like their complete failure, because you can disappoint people if you're out of stock or whatever else. So the fact that you guys took that opportunity and were able to leverage it to get to the next stage says a lot. I'm sure that was a really hard time, a lot of pressure. You have to work really, really hard. You're pushing, but you have a window, right? There's a window.
Till 3 a.m.
Right.
Every single night. And now because she posted, everyone wants your pieces. Everyone that's dressing every celebrity. So you had every stylist reaching out. It was actually crazy. Everyone's brand manager, PR managers, everyone was reaching out. We want this. And we're like, we're going to give it to you. Give us a second. And then CNN reaches out, and they're like, we want to interview you. And we're just like, where do we turn?
You're 20-year-old kids.
And we're little babies. And Mara was saying, how is it going to be that we show up to an interview like this? They're going to see children, and they're going to say, this is a joke. And you said about canceling orders, we were not letting one order get canceled. We were running nonstop to make sure that every order went out. It was crazy. We were dropping packages to USPS. When they saw us, they're like, what is this? They're like, well, what's going on? And we're like, listen, something happened. We're getting very lucky. Thank God. This is the big break that we've been waiting for, And I didn't believe in it. My brother is the one who told me, Adina, I'm telling you,
This is your break.
this is we need this to happen. And when it happened and I just saw this ball chain reaction, it was just crazy.
I can imagine like it was the pressure and the hard work, and you're just like, oh my gosh. And again, like, you're so lucky you had that opportunity. People do sometimes get that, and very often they lose that opportunity. So I think that that's just like great advice for people, is that like nothing amazing gets there without an incredible amount of hard work. And these are the stories where people see really successful businesses or successful people, and they have no idea. Like, even the moments that are so exciting and big are still so much work and commitment to be able to get them to be successful. No less the really hard times, because I'm sure there were incredibly difficult times also in the business.
And mind you, at this point, we had no employees. It was just me and Meyer. So we're packaging all the orders. We're calling my sister downstairs. We're calling my little brother downstairs. I think my brother was 5 at the time. We're like, you have to pack orders. We'll give you $20 every night to pack orders. And for him, that was a great deal.
Yeah,
like,
great.
And that's what it was. Like, it was just crazy. Like,
so then once you got through that moment, was it then like, okay, we have to open our own offices, a store? Like, what was the next step?
So eventually we were like, this is not sustainable. We're staying in our parents' basement. It's not going to work. We have to get an office. And so, again, we don't have credit cards. Everything was on debit cards at this point. We never had our own credit cards. We never had our own money. We never had anything. Like, we were very, very simple, humble kids from a very humble family. And my parents always worked, and whatever we had, we got. But at the end of the day, like, my dad never came and told me, here's a credit card with your name on it, go spend money. Like, that wasn't what it was. And so we had no credit score, we had no credit history, and so we had to go now and build a credit score from scratch, and how are we gonna go sign a lease on a building for an office, and we're 20 years old?
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna trust us?
So how'd you do that?
And how do you tell them that you have an online business? It was still so new.
Yeah, the concept.
And like, you're not Saks Fifth Avenue, you're not Bloomingdale's. Like, they're just like, what are you talking about? You have an online business. Like, they couldn't understand, you know? And so we just told them, we'll pay you upfront as much as you want, but we promise you, like, we are good for our work. And it was very scary because, when you're at home in your parents' basement, if you mess up, if you lose money, nothing's gonna happen to you. You have no expense. But once you take an office space
and employees
and you start paying payroll and you have an accountant and you have a lawyer, things really start to, and it's not slowly, it quickly starts to add up. And that's where I think a lot of businesses who grow very fast also go out of business very fast, because that can put you out of business. And so we were 2 babies trying to figure out all of this in this crazy world. And you can call people and you can ask for advice, but not everyone gives you honest advice. And a lot of people don't have time for 2 little kids. They're like, get out. We don't believe in this. Jewelry, you're selling jewelry. And like, they're telling my brother, like, you're dealing, he's like, I don't deal with the jewelry. I don't know anything about what we sell or what we do. That's my sister's domain, but I'm running everything else on the back end.
Such a good partnership. You get to focus on the product, and he gets to focus on operations. Until this day,
that's how we have it, because I can't deal with operations. I can't do 5 + 5. So he knows numbers. He knows how to, crunch, and do all those pie charts and the this and that and the Excel sheet. And I'm doing everything else. And that's how we were able to really make it work, And so it was just so crazy to get from point A to point Z.
What was the next
in such a short amount of time?
What was the next big milestone after kind of moving out of your parents' house? And was there a moment where you're like, people probably all are, oh, we want to invest, or you need to raise money? Because people go through and they think that that's what success is that when people are coming to you to put money in, which you and I know we had that conversation. It's like, wait a minute. As soon as you take money from someone else, it's not your company anymore. You're now just leading a company for shareholders.
Yeah. So we've had several big breaks in between of like things that were really successful for us, or like special sales that we did. Like on my birthday, we call it Adina's Day. And that's something that's really been successful for us. And so that kind of gives us like the head start on Black Friday.
What's your birthday so everybody
November
knows?
7th.
Okay, November 7th.
Yes.
You want a sale.
So it's our biggest sale ever. The first time we did it, I was turning maybe 25 or maybe 24. And we literally did 50% off the entire site for just 25 minutes. Like,
Wow.
I'm turning 25, and it started at 11:07 a.m. It's so cheesy, but people loved it.
Okay, it's like
People
a drop,
loved it.
like
And
a certain moment.
Yeah. So like, we don't do drops, but we
Right.
did something like that,
Yeah.
and it was phenomenal. So like, we've had small little things like that, just like we've had our busts and we've had drops that didn't work or whatever. But that's every business owner, and that's everyone is going to tell you that that's what makes a business real. Like, if your business is real, that's just the truth of it at the end of the day, is that you're going to have your wins and you're going to have your losses. But I think for me personally, the next biggest milestone in the sense of, for me, in terms of recognition, was getting Forbes 30 under 30. So I never even knew what that was.
Yeah.
And a year before we were announced, I remember showing my brother, I was like, I just found out about this, and I'm letting you know from now, next year, we're going to get it. And he's like, get out of my office. Like, this, I don't have time for this. And like, you are such an optimist. It's like disgusting. And it just, he's like, you don't get it. Like, it's not possible for us to get something like this. It's like actually not possible. We're two Jewish kids from Brooklyn, New York, in Midwood, Syrian American kids. We went to yeshiva. We're not getting this. It's not possible. And I was like, okay, you'll wait and see. And I don't know what happened that year. I had a very, very big interview with a major company in Dubai. And one of the interviewers asked me, how old are you? And I was like, oh, I'm 26. And she's like, why don't you have Forbes 30 under 30? Or I was 25. She's like, why don't you have Forbes 30 under 30? And I was like, I don't know. You tell me. I need someone to nominate me, because I'm not going to nominate myself. I would never do that. And 2 months later, or a month later, they opened up the nominations, and I got an email. And it wasn't just like, oh, someone nominated you. It was like, someone nominated you, and we want to speak with you immediately. We want to interview you. And that's what it was. And so for me, just wanting something and then actually achieving it and attaining it in a matter of a year was so big for me. And just like I said, being that girl that was overweight, I was bullied my entire life. No one wanted to be my friend. I had no friends. I had no social life. I started the business because I had nothing better to do, and I had no one else to really be with. And so while everyone my age was traveling and doing this and doing that, I was going to school and then coming home and working. And so what started off as really something just to give me some life and something, feeling like a purpose, something like I wanted to have a passion. I wanted to take my passion and turn it to purpose. Ended up me getting recognized as Forbes 30 under 30. And I don't know if anyone else, even in my community, was recognized for Forbes 30 under 30, but it was just such a big accomplishment for me personally, being the person that was the underdog my entire life.
Right, because I know, like we had talked about, there's like, you said, what's the voice in your head that when things get tough, that voice pushes you through those late nights, those tough conversations, those tough decisions, those big risks?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have that voice in your head, then you can't do this. But right now, for example, everything I do is for my kids. At the time, everything, like when I was pushing and pushing and pushing, it was like because I have to be greater. I almost kind of had to prove something, not to everyone around me, but to myself, that I wasn't this loser, that I wasn't this failure, that these girls didn't want to be my friend, but newsflash, you skipped out on the wrong person, because I'm a great person to be friends with. And I don't want to sound arrogant, but being my friend is a privilege. It's an honor, and not because of what I've accomplished in my life, but because of what a good person I am. And people did not see my heart because all they saw was my body. And so today, after losing a significant amount of weight and looking very, very different, people, yes, want to be my friend because I'm Adina of Adina Eden, but also because they're like, wait, you're actually a great person. And so, but you didn't want to be my friend 20 years ago. So why do you want to be my friend now?
So how do you deal with that?
It's hard. It's very hard. I keep my circle very, very small. And whoever was my friend from before is my friend now, if we stayed in touch. And I have very few best friends, my best friends, and they're my ride or dies. They're my lifers forever, And everyone else, it's their loss that they bullied me. It's their loss that they hurt me, that they were mean to me. And it's their loss that they didn't know how to look past someone's body or someone's weight to be nice and kind to a person, because you just never know what someone's going through. You never know how just a small smile or just a small gesture can really change a person's day. It could change a person's week. It could change a person's month. You just don't know what people are going through sometimes. And today, being on the other side of this, when people reach out to me and they tell me their stories, I really make sure to respond to every single person, because I know how just a small response can mean so much to someone. And it just makes me feel not important, but it makes me feel like I'm on this earth for a reason.
Impactful.
You know, like, yeah, you know, like be there for others in a way that no one was there for me, you know?
That's an amazing story. So I want to change gears a little bit and talk about what happened on October 7th. And at that point, your business was, you know, really successful. You're running a multi-million-dollar business. You have an incredible following on Instagram, and October 7th hits.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, it's so crazy. At the time, I was pregnant with my first pregnancy that unfortunately ended in a miscarriage. And I was doing IVF at the time. I gained about 50 pounds doing all of the IVF treatments. And this was like, finally got the first positive pregnancy. Like, first was a chemical, and then we finally got our first positive. And I remember being so just puffy and just didn't look, my face looked deformed from all the medications and everything. And I was like, I want to go on and speak. I want to say something. But I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I hate the face that's looking back at me. And I was just so disappointed in life and the fact that I was dealing with this infertility so secretly and no one knew about it. And I share everything with my followers because I feel like it's so important to speak about what we're going through, because there's always someone who's going through it. And so that was a part of my life that I chose to keep hidden. And so it just didn't feel right to come on and speak because I'm hiding something so big from everyone. But I was very, very adamant and very publicly not speaking myself, but posting about October 7th. And I remember when we sat together as a family, we said right away, there's no question about it. As a business, we are going to stand in solidarity with Israel publicly. If we lose followers, if we lose customers, it is what it is. I am so proud to be a Jew. I can't even tell you. It is like every day I wake up in the morning and I say, thank you, Hashem, that you made me Jewish. It is one of the biggest parts of my identity, especially because of my history and because I felt very lost at a lot of points in my life. Being Jewish was always my home base. It was always what kept me grounded in what I was taught and in what I know. And so I just said there is no way. There is just no way that we are going to post regularly and not acknowledge what happened on October 7th. And that's when I shifted gears entirely. I put every single launch on pause, and I only focused, me with the team, on launching Star of David and Star of David pieces, the Israel collection. We were donating left and right to Magen David Adom, to whatever organization we can get our hands on. And that's now what we do behind closed doors individually. And nothing and nobody was going to stop us until this day. It is actually one of our best-selling collections. And yeah, we lost a couple thousand followers or a couple 10,000 followers, and that's their loss. You know,
I hope you gained also, though.
We gained amazing followers. We gained a community. We gained achdut, and that's something that you don't see in a lot of other places.
Do you think sometimes people scared to speak up and scared both for like a safety or also for like their business? Like,
no, I definitely think people are. For safety reasons, yeah, people were DMing me and said like, screw you, you're a Zionist, or ugly Zio, or, and cursing, or I hope you die. People are crazy, And that was something that was just like, for a moment, was just like, whoa, did not expect that, because we don't go and DM people that we hope that they die if they're pro-Palestinian. We don't do that. But I'm sure people are afraid of that. As a business, I think many businesses choose not to post at all, but then they choose to post other things. So I feel like once you start with one thing, you kind of almost have to post for everything, which that was something that when we were talking about it as a family, we were just like, if we post this, we're going to have to post every time something happens. And that's okay, because Israel is our homeland. My mom is from Israel. Like, we love Israel. I can't wait to go back to Israel, So that's okay. And if brands are afraid to post, then listen, I respect everyone. I'm not here to judge people. I really respect everyone, and I respect the influencers who are Jewish who also did not want to post. What I couldn't respect, what I couldn't tolerate were the people who are influencers and they're really, really big and they're not educated and they're posting on the wrong side, or they're posting things that don't make sense or that don't add up, or the people that stayed silent on October 7th, the women advocates, and
when
the
they
sexual assault
when they're
advocates.
Advocating for everybody else, and then they're silent on
and
these
then they're
issues.
silent.
It's like you said, either you're quiet on everything,
Right.
or you talk about everything.
Correct.
But when you're intentionally quiet on certain issues, it's like you're saying that it's okay.
You're saying that it's okay. And that's where I was like, I'm unfollowing people that I loved, that I grew up loving, or influencers that I really looked up to. I just couldn't look past it. I took it very personally. Like, I was like, I can't, like, how can you go and speak up about all of this? And literally there's like footage of what was going on, and you're just denying it or just refusing to speak about it.
Well, one of the nice things for you is that because you never took investors, you guys, this is like your business, and it's everything about it is your decision to do.
Yeah.
And I love that, you look at it, this is your business, but it's also like your identity, it's your purpose, it's like the way in which you can make a difference in the world. And when you are so fortunate to be able to combine those two things, like, that's really amazing.
And that's something that I think we're so lucky, because when we are our own boss and we don't have to answer to anyone, we can do anything, and we can do it so quickly. We don't have to ask a board, we don't have to get permission. It's just, everything is on the fly.
What do you know now that you, if you would have known, could have saved you years of pain?
Oh gosh, that's a crazy question. Are you talking about in business?
Could be however you want to answer it.
So I think I'll answer you in both, because I think that's a really good question to answer. In business, I think something that my brother and I really learned is that quality hires is much better than quantity. And when we were growing really quickly, it was just like, we need more hands, we need more hands, we need more hands. But a lot of those hands did not care about the business. They didn't care about our mission, about our drive, and they didn't have our best interest at heart. And so I think in business, in a company, if you're hiring, whatever it is, hire the right people. Hire people who have the same vision as you, and hire good people. A good person is never going to screw you.
Yeah.
Not at the office and not outside of the
culture,
office.
like, right? You
know what I
build
mean?
your culture.
Yeah.
And you hire people. Like, I think you can teach people almost anything. You can't teach them to fit in your culture. It's
Correct.
the kind of person that they are.
Correct. So I think that's for business. That would have saved us a lot of headache and pain and just ups and downs and just a lot of uncertainty in life. I think, sometimes I want things right now. I see something, I want it right now. And like when I wanted to get pregnant, I wanted to get pregnant right now. And I think something that I've learned is that there's a timing for things in life. And we may want things now. Don't get me wrong. I want things now a lot of the times now too. But with big things in life, with the important things in life, it's important to see and to recognize and to just take a step back and say, one, why is this happening to me? And two, how can I learn from this and grow from this? And if something is not in my control, I can't let it affect me. And one thing that we were taught is parnasa, kids, and zivug, which is a marriage partner. it's in God's hands. It's bidei shamayim. And so that was something that I wish I knew before, and I wish I could apply it more before. Of course I knew it, but I didn't apply it. And now it's something that I apply it really every day for the big things and for the small things, because God has his timing and he knows best. I know it is when people are in it, they don't want to hear that. But when things settle and when you can take that step back and look at things from that outside perspective, Hashem's timing is so perfect. It is so superior to anything that we can ever comprehend. Like I'm telling you, It took me 3 hours to get here.
Yeah.
I drive here all the time. It does not take me 3 hours. Why did it take me 3 hours today when I had a podcast that I was so excited for this interview, and it took me 3 hours to get here? Hashem has his ways.
Right.
I don't know why he took me in circles and what the point of that was. So you just have to trust it, and you just can't get angry, and you just have to let things be. You just have to let things be. You have to let people be. You can't control people. You can't control the narrative. A lot of the times things are going to happen, and it's just going to happen that way, and you just have to let it be.
No, I think that's amazing advice, and I think it's like a muscle that people just have to keep working.
Yeah.
If you could be remembered for only one thing, what would that be?
So to me, it's very important to leave behind a legacy. And I don't say it as a legacy like, oh, I want to be remembered for X, Y, and Z. It's more for my kids and for the generations that are going to come from me. But if I were to be remembered for one thing, it's that I gave every person the time of day.
That's really nice.
What I do behind closed doors, it's all behind closed doors in terms of charity and all my work and the boards that I sit on and the things that I do. But I think a lot of us just don't give people the time of day. And that's one thing. I end up getting stuck in a lot of conversations that I don't want to be in or I don't have to be in, but it's important to listen to people and just listen to them. So that's something that I would say I would want to be remembered for, that I was just always nice and good to everyone.
I love it. Was there a moment where you felt like you hit rock bottom, but you climbed out of it?
Absolutely. Several times. But I would say the biggest rock bottom for me was after my third miscarriage. I just couldn't live. I felt like I couldn't live. Life felt heavy to live. Every day was a struggle. I just kept thinking about, when am I going back and doing my next embryo transfer? When am I gonna be a mother? Will I ever be a mother? Will I ever be able to hold a child and say, this is my child with my DNA that I carried in my belly? And that was something that I lived. Those are the same questions that just went on in my mind every single day. And thank God I got my wish, and I got a double wish, because I had my beautiful twins, a boy and a girl.
Wow.
So it's the sweetest thing ever. But rock bottom was definitely that time. I stepped away from the business. I stepped away from everyone, my friends, my family. I was just a shell of a person. And I just, of course, I think what really turned it around was getting pregnant and carrying a pregnancy. I'm not going to deny it. But I also couldn't go and get pregnant and be depressed. So I had to really pick myself up. I went on vacation, sat on the beach for 3 days, and I said, pick yourself up. You've been through so much in your life. Yes, this is the hardest thing you've been through, but if God is putting you through this, it's for a reason. And you're going to get up. You're going to go back to New York. You're going to do everything that you have to do. You've done nothing wrong. And when Hashem wants it to be, it will be.
That's amazing. Like, you say it, and I think it's such an inspiring message. And I hope that when people say that, who actually been through something, I feel like it really resonates and gives so much chizuk. What failure are you most grateful for today?
What failure am I most grateful for? I don't know, honestly. I'm trying to think. There's definitely mistakes that we've made, or things that we thought would be the end of us, or something like that. One thing I will say, though, is during COVID, I won't say this is maybe a failure, but it's just something that almost could have been. We were really when we heard about what's going on with COVID and just how serious things were getting, I remember my brother looking at me and he goes, this is going to be the end of us. Just know it from now. This is your name. It is your face. And it's something that you're going to have to learn to cope with. We didn't work for people in a very long time. And there may come a day where you're going to have to go work for someone. And we were on this high, and now we're going to really be on this low. I told him, absolutely not. Absolutely not. There is absolutely no way that we are never going to go out of business until I decide that's it. Like, there's absolutely not. Absolutely not. We did everything in our power. And COVID ended up being another, actually, second milestone, or maybe third milestone for us that really shifted, because everyone was on social media and everyone was shopping online. And so what we were so afraid of happening, of just literally people falling off the face of the earth in terms of no one having time to go online or to do anything, because there was literally a worldwide pandemic going on. The opposite happened. People had the time to go on. And so that was something that I would say was a really big, scary thing for us. And because we played our cards right, we were able to walk out successful on the other side.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
What a great story. Were there sacrifices that no one saw that got you here?
Oh my gosh. I can't even say how many. I mean, let's talk about the fact that for probably about 7 or 8 years, my brother and I were sleeping at about 2 o'clock every morning, 2 a.m. every morning, and then waking up and being at the office at 9 a.m. So we really had no life. We dedicated everything to the business. Every penny went back in. We didn't take a salary for a long time. We just loved what we were doing, and we believed so much in Adina Eden, but in ourselves and in what we were doing. And I mean, there's so many sacrifices, but I would say those are some of the few. I mean, going to sleep every night at 2 a.m. and waking up at 9. I'm doing it now with my kids, worse. And I'm just like, how did I used to do that?
Yeah.
And go and hustle, and then have to sit in an office and, deal with employees, and people are coming in asking questions, this and that, and things are getting messed up, and deliveries are delayed, and just everything that goes on in a business, and just being able to deal with it and tackle it day after day is just crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
What would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self, I think the biggest thing was I was always very worried. And so I would tell my younger self not to worry, and that she's gonna make it. She's gonna make it. She doesn't believe it. She can't even see past like 5 feet in front of her. She can only think of how little people care for her. But she's loved, and she just doesn't know it. And she's gonna build an amazing, beautiful life. And everything she prayed for, she got.
I love that message.
Everything she prayed for, she got.
Such a great message. What would you say your superpower is?
My superpower is definitely being able to be calm during times of chaos. A lot of times things go wrong, things that we cannot control. And this took me years to master. But like I said before, certain things you just simply cannot change, and you just have to let it be. What you can do is you can control how you deal with the aftermath. You can control your reaction to it. But I think a lot of times things really go the wrong way. And I'm really good at staying positive and always finding the solution to the problem. Because I believe that there's no problem without a solution.
That's a great attitude.
There's no problem without a solution. And one thing that we always learn is that God gives you the solution before he gives you the problem. You just gotta look hard enough for it. So
That's amazing. I love it. All right, final question for you. What's a great piece of advice that you could pass along to the listeners?
So I think I would say a lot of times when people are starting their business, or thinking about starting a business, they get very afraid about the money aspect. Where am I going to get money to start? How am I going to get money to buy product? How am I going to get money to have an office? That should be the least of your worries. We started our business with nothing. And when I tell you nothing, I really mean
It's
nothing.
like $100, right?
Yeah. But as we continued, we got no money from outside. We reinvested everything. We literally did not take a dollar for years. And so if you love what you're doing, if you're so passionate about it, the money should be the least of your worries, because your brand and what you stand for will speak for itself. And if you just give it the time to flourish, more often than not, before you need money, you're already getting money. So you don't have to go hire someone to make you a logo for $10,000. Do that when you've already established yourself, or when you already have that money. We didn't get a proper logo until maybe 3 years in. We went online, we did it. There was no ChatGPT, but if there was ChatGPT, we probably would have done it with ChatGPT. There was like a logo generator. That's how we literally, or like we had someone do it for us. Super basic, super simple. I think we paid her $250.
Yep.
And she made us the logo. You don't have to, your packaging can be simple until you're ready. When we couldn't afford to go do our own boxes with our logo, so we went to Staples and we put Adina's Jewels stickers for $20, and we would put it on a plain box that cost us $1 or whatever it was, but we couldn't place a MOQ of 10,000, orders of a box for us. We couldn't do that. So you have to work with what you have.
Great advice.
And I think a lot of times people are just like, oh no, but I need this. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you love what you're doing, you really don't need half of the things that all of these business textbooks are going to tell you that you need. I'm telling you experience. I'm telling you life. I didn't learn this in the textbooks. This is what you learn from being surrounded by business people. This is what you learn from being involved in a business for years. You don't need any of that. Just go, ride it, and you'd be so surprised how quickly you can become successful without having to have half the stuff you think you need.
Adina, this is amazing. Thank you so much. I'll tell you, people listening are like, I probably spoke the least in this entire podcast than I normally do, because I'm just like sitting here watching you in like such awe. I'm learning from you. I'm so inspired. I can't believe like what you've accomplished at such a young age, and how much passion you have and how much purpose you have. And you are such an incredible role model.
Thank you.
For all of us.
Thank you.
And I give you the bracha that you should and the blessing that you should just continue
Amen.
To take the strength that you have and the attitude that you have and the passion that you have, and continue to do incredible, amazing things.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
This episode was made possible by our friends at Roth & Co. We are grateful for their continued partnership. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and that you'll join us for the next one. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch this conversation on YouTube, so be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Until we meet again, stay inspired to lead.